imagine, like, looking at a list of the top 100 most powerful, totally impenetrable corporations on Earth.
Right, the absolute giants.
Yeah, the giants. And knowing that in just 30 years, 81 of them will completely vanish from that top tier. Welcome to today's deep dive.
Yeah, we have a really fascinating combination of sources today. We are looking at some daily reflection notes dated July 20, 2026, alongside this ancient text from Ezekiel chapter 27.
Great combo.
It really is. And our mission today is to explore this illusion of permanent success. We are, placing ancient economic empires right next to our modern corporate giants.
Okay, let's unpack this, because right out of the gate, these sources want to ask you, the listener, a pretty heavy question, like, what achievement, possession, or future plan are you tempted to trust for your ultimate security?
Yeah, it's a question that cuts right through the noise,
Oh, absolutely.
And to really grasp what the ancient scripture is trying to tell us, we actually have to look at the modern business world first, just to prove how fragile what we call success truly is.
Right.
So the reflection notes bring up the Fortune Global 500 list, and they note that in 1995, that list expanded to include finance and service companies, so it became this true snapshot of global corporate dominance.
But out of those original 100 titans in 1995, only 19 remained in that top tier by 2025.
It's wild.
I mean, that means 81 massive companies effectively disappeared from the absolute top in just 3 decades.
Yeah.
But, why? What actually happens to cause that kind of colossal drop-off?
Well, what's fascinating here is that those 81 companies didn't just have, a string of bad luck. Their sheer size and success actually became their greatest liability.
Wait, really? How does that work?
Well, they stopped adapting. I mean, when you dominate a market and generate billions in revenue, complacency sets in.
Yeah, sure.
The very bureaucratic structures that made them massive also made them too slow to pivot when technology or, markets fundamentally shifted.
So it's like a massive cargo ship that is so heavily loaded with valuable freight that it becomes entirely impossible to steer when a sudden storm hits. Like, the very wealth that made them powerful is exactly what sank them.
Precisely. And that 30-year expiration date on global dominance, it isn't a new phenomenon at all.
No, not at all.
If we rewind thousands of years to Ezekiel 27, we see the exact same cycle of hubris and collapse with the ancient city of Tyre.
Yeah, the text paints this vivid picture of Tyre as the ultimate ancient global hub. Like, it satisfied nations and enriched the kings of the earth with its abundant merchandise.
But then it describes a catastrophic end.
Right. Tyre is depicted as this magnificent ship wrecked by an east wind out in the high seas. It causes merchants to hiss and kings to shudder in horror as the city becomes, quote, no more forever.
Yeah, it's a dramatic shift.
But I'm curious, what does that east wind actually represent in this context?
So, historically and metaphorically, the east wind represents a destructive, uncontrollable force, like a conquering army or a sudden economic disaster that just shatters their illusion of control.
Wow. Okay.
Tyre thought its immense wealth made it untouchable, but it was just as vulnerable as those modern companies failing to adapt to a shifting reality.
Okay, wait, I need to stop you there, because here's where it gets really interesting. I have to push back on this timeline a bit.
Oh, go for it.
Because the notes specifically mention that God himself described Tyre's beauty and prosperity, right? Like, he gave them those things.
That's right.
So if he built them up and granted that wealth, why orchestrate such absolute judgment on it? I mean, that feels a bit contradictory to me.
And that tension is central to the text. Tyre didn't fall just because it was wealthy. It fell because of the psychology that wealth created.
Okay, unpack that a little.
Well, the sources explain that Tyre failed to practice God's justice and love. They took the gifts they were given, the trade, the prosperity, the influence, and turned them into idols of self-reliance.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, instead of using their resources to elevate others, success just bred arrogance. They mistook a temporary gift for their ultimate security.
They thought they were the source of their own success, which, circles right back to you, listening right now.
Exactly.
The reflection notes challenge us with this. How would your priorities change today if you truly believed God alone is your lasting security?
That's a tough question.
It really is. It's a reminder to receive our abilities and our resources as temporary gifts, not as our core identities. So what does this all mean?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it is a timeless warning about human nature. Whether you are a merchant in ancient Tyre or a CEO in 2025, the psychological trap is totally identical.
Yeah, it doesn't change.
We are called to seek eternal things over temporary success, to exalt the eternal rather than desperately clinging to the fleeting.
And if ancient, impenetrable empires and modern billion-dollar corporations routinely vanish into the tide in a mere 30 years, perhaps the most enduring legacy you can leave isn't an empire you built.
That's a great point.
Maybe the only things that truly survive are the quiet acts of justice and love you leave behind in others.